What's up guys, PoppedBit here, and we are on a new adventure. I am here with my brand new Sunlite 14THX toy hauler, and I'm taking it on its inaugural trip. So we're gonna do a little walk around here, and when we get to camp, we'll do the inside. But yeah, let's start this thing off. So, of course, had to get it in the blue to match the Africa Twin, which is inside right now. Hopefully it makes it and doesn't fall down, but we'll see about that. So first off, we've got a handle here for the door to get in. There are stairs that fold out when you get to camp. Right there is one of the vents for when you have like a vehicle with gasoline in it, so you don't want everything to smell like gas. There's one on the other side. We have the power awning with LEDs. Hopefully I'll get to try that out. It's supposed to be pretty windy. Pair of propane tanks. Love that there's two. I am going to definitely use the heater this weekend. One thing we won't be able to see is the rooftop solar. 200 watts, I believe, so that should be great. Back door folds down for loading the bike in. Super easy to do. Got the bike loaded up all by myself, no problems. Here we have a pop-out bed. It's a little smaller than a full. Should be nice for like using as like a extra space to store gear and stuff when I'm camping. Probably won't pop it out this weekend. It is a little cold and I don't want to lose heat through the canvas. There is the other vent. And yeah, what else? Oh, 4 stabilizer jacks on the bottom. So we'll see how she pulls. My truck isn't all that capable, but it's pretty light. I think 2,300 pounds without anything in it. So should be a breeze. I've done it before. I had a tent trailer that was a double axle that weighed just about the same. So yeah, should be a piece of cake. So really looking forward to this weekend, and we'll get to camp, set it up, and we'll do an inside of the camper tour. See you then. Cool. Now let's go check out the inside. So this is the next day. I wanted to spend a night in it before making a video about the inside. So you come in the door, you got a little screen here. All your controls, heater, battery information. We're at 100% battery with the solar. And then a bunch of controls, the awning, water pump, gas, standard stuff. Then we got my lovely trash can for the weekend. And here is the closet. Just kidding, it's a bathroom that I hope to never use. I kind of don't want to deal with that headache. But it is a toilet and shower. So there's that if you need it. Next to that you got your fridge with my handy dandy 3D printed koozie dispenser. It's 12 volts, so that runs when you're on battery. You got some storage. I'm gonna try to figure out a place to mount this paper towel holder. Sink, I mean, it's pretty big. Yeah, pretty neat. Under here, under my junk, you got 2 burners there. Microwave, of course, that only works on power, and the heater's right there, so drying my socks. Window, right here is one of 2 vents. Those are for, you put a vehicle in here, you let the gas fumes out. I didn't open this, but this is what the inside of the pop-out bed looks like. This little cover here is basically just holding the mattress from just falling on the floor right there. I chose not to pop it out last night because it got a little chilly and I didn't want to, make my heater have to work a little extra hard. When I woke up this morning, I think the battery was at 60%, so it wasn't too bad. It only got down to 35 degrees last night. So yeah, here's the bed. It folds down from up there, And I don't know, it's a little hard, but it's an RV bed, so that's fine. My bedspread set isn't finished yet, but hopefully next time I have some pictures from in here, that'll all be done. I got another pillow cover and a duvet for the comforter. So inside of the door right there, we've got the bug screen. So if you wanted to say, just leave that door open, you could, and you'd get some airflow. Yeah, and then right here, cabinet, nothing special, kind of small, and some USB ports for by the bed. I think that's it. Oh, just kidding. And the air conditioning. This only works when you're plugged into power, but it's there, and it works pretty well. They had it plugged in when I picked it up, so yeah. Whoops, I almost forgot the most important thing. The reason I bought this was to haul the motorcycle. It's got 6 D-rings, one there, one there, one back there, one there, one there, and there, for strapping down the bike. So the bike rode really well here, so definitely a great success. So I want to talk a little bit about the process it took to get this thing. So I ordered this camper the last weekend of April. I think it was April 28th. So it took about 2 months to get, a little bit less. They were back ordered pretty far. And one of the big things was they had the 14THs in stock, which the only difference between the 14THX and the 14TH is the 14TH doesn't have the 6-inch lift, it doesn't have the knobby tires, and it doesn't have the tent pop out. And I figured, okay, the price difference is only $1,000. So why not get that? Because the big thing I want to do with the pop-out tent is if it's warm enough to have it, I'm not worried about losing heat or letting in the heat, that I can use it as like a staging area for my gear. Like, I have my gear on my bed right now, but when I got here yesterday, I threw it on the floor in the bathroom because to me that's just out of the way space to do it. It's a closet, there's porta potties here, there was no reason to use it. So having that, kind of an extra place to put stuff. I've got, my gear is on top of the sink right now and on top of that stovetop. Making that a little more accessible is kind of one of those things. And, bringing people with me too, having that extra space would be really nice. So I thought for, $1,000, it's a no-brainer not to get it. And I think a lot of people felt that way too. So the 14THs were sitting and the 14THXs were bought before they were even arriving. So it was a little hard to have my salesman give me, what's the delivery date on this, or keep me updated when you should tell me, because I was really trying to plan, am I going to get it before this weekend? Am I going to, if I am, I'm going to take it with me, and if not, I need to plan accordingly. So getting this thing on a Thursday, loading up the bike that night, and then the next afternoon taking it out, it was a pretty quick turnaround. But first night, total success. The heater worked great. I think it ran down from 100% to 60%, 40%. I can't remember. But within a few hours of the sun coming up, the solar had already recharged it all the way. So I definitely could have turned it up a little higher in the night and not had to worry about it. So picking it up was kind of odd. One thing they did was they offered $1,000 off if you financed it through them, and my plan was just to pay it all off at once. And they said, oh yeah, you can totally do that. Here's what you got to do. Pay this much, and then you'll pay minimal interest for 6 months, I think, after that. And then it ends up being that $1,000 off, and I ended up you'll pay less than $100 in interest. So I over $900 saved. So it was kind of one of those no-brainer things. So I show up, and kind of the salesman doesn't even recognize me, which was kind of one of those, like, I've been hounding your butt for weeks now. Like, how do you not know who I am? I'm here. We have a date I have an appointment to pick this thing up. And then I'm kind of talking to him, and it's one of those things where I kind of didn't know what I was going to get. Because there's just so many different models online, and it was one of those, well, I've kind of straddled the line between, I had put a pre-order on a 2025, but are they even, if it's still being manufactured, I might be getting a 2026, and all the listings online have different stuff of, is it 100 watt solar, is it 200 watt solar, how many propane tanks does it come with, just a couple little things around of like Farkles. I saw one that had a porch kit, which is like an extra $2,500, where you could, it props up the porch, the cargo door flat, and it also puts like a deck wall around it, like a fence, so that no one walks off of it. So I don't know, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't really know what I'm getting. I didn't know what color I was getting. I was fine with anything. I told them straight up, whatever is going to get this thing to me the fastest, I want the first one you get. And so we got this blue one. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Matches the bike. So we go in there, and I'm like kind of asking some questions, and he's like, yeah, we didn't really know. And I was like, well, you know, I talked about like the propane tank count. He's like, oh, it definitely has one. Well, you know, 2 minutes later, the tech guy comes out to do the walkthrough. It's got 2. So he has no idea what's going on, all this stuff. So go through the walkthrough. It's great. I remember 80% of it probably, so I don't screw this thing up, and make sure to do everything right. And go in and go through the finance process, which takes a while, but, you know, I wanted to save that $900 something. So totally worth it. Get outside, hooking it up. The foreman comes out of the garage and, does your truck have a brake connector for this? Because this has got brakes, and, you know, it runs that, whatever they're called, the brake connection. And I said, no, it doesn't. This is my first trailer. And he goes, well, I honestly, I can't let you leave because it's a liability. You need that installed. And it was one of those things of like, why in the hell did we get all the way through this process? I'm trying to go back. I need to get back to work. I took a couple hours out of my day, vacation, so that I could come get this thing. And I'm finding out right now that we need to do something, and I need to pay, you know, I think it ended up being another $180 to put this little, you know, the cheapest one they had in there, so that I could get the heck out of there. And I was pretty heated, and they kind of walked away, and I considered at one point just driving off, because that's something my dad would have done. My dad does not appreciate stuff like that. And it was one of those, the salesman never said anything. I've been sitting here for, you know, going through the walkthrough and doing the paperwork. At any point we could have knocked this out, and it would have been at least done. And I would have been, you know, a lot less upset than, you know, I am ready to leave, and now all of a sudden there's this extra surprise. And honestly, the time was the big thing. So they're like, oh yeah, it'll probably take 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Whatever, man. And I think it only ends up taking up like 25, which was fine. But I was, you know, pretty disappointed with that process. So we'll just, you know, leave it at that. And I guess lastly, I need a name for this thing, which I don't know what to name this thing. And part of that is I need to get a custom plate for it too. So that's kind of a thing in Idaho. So if you got any ideas, leave them in the comments. And I appreciate all your input. So thanks for watching, guys. This is the start of something new. Peace.
Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us again.